for most of us in the weekend. Hundreds gathered to farewell great rugby legend, Va'aiga Inga Tuigamala, famously known as Inga the Winger, at a funeral service held at his old school, Kelston Boys High School. In a 3-hour ceremony, loved ones shared fond memories and, of course, remembered Va'aiga more for his qualities off the field than on. But our next guest was privileged enough to attend the funeral service and has been long-time friends with Va'aiga Tuigamala for 30 years. With that, I say malori soifun. Welcome to the show this morning, Agnes.
Oh, talofa lava, Agni, and thank you very much for having me this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Agnes, of course, when we have funerals, of course, it's expected that the village, gathers around and comes together to help each other during these hard times. I suppose for those who obviously couldn't attend the funeral and the ceremony, what was the day like, the atmosphere? Anything notable that stood out for you?
Actually, for me, Aggie, it was sort of earlier in the week that I was able to spend some time with Daphne and to visit Inga. And then on the Thursday, there was an event, as you know, he was also laid at Trust Stadium. And that was so that the many people who wouldn't have been able to gather for his funeral could gather there, during the course of the day and just come in and spend some time. And I think that was really, really special for the family to do that, because they knew he was so well loved, and for people just to come and honor him, people that knew him, but also people that didn't know him personally, but he had made such an impact in their lives. And so, of course, the funeral, if people were able to tune into the video live, just the beautiful speeches that were made, my favorites were from his wife, Daphne, his children, his very, very close friends. And so, there were beautiful tributes to read from all over the world in that week. And, every single one of them just cemented again what a wonderful, wonderful, one-of-a-kind man Inga was.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. I suppose in the intro I had said, you have been a family friend for at least, 30 years. How did that even come about for you guys to, get to know each other?
It just so happened that we just connected through people that we knew, 30 years ago. And so it was just prior to their wedding. And as I was thinking about it, again, it was also mentioned by his wife, Daphne, in her beautiful eulogy to Inga. Today is actually their 30th wedding anniversary. Wow. And she mentioned that he'd almost made it. So 30 years of friendship, but a particular significance to me and some very good friends of mine when we were living over in the UK in the mid-90s. Inga was obviously playing for Wigan and then up in Newcastle. And we were living, the life in London, but Inga and Daphne's home was our home away from home. And it was beautiful when we would go up and visit them and be around their children. And we just had wonderful times there. And he was just a wonderful, wonderful friend. And we've just maintained that friendship over the years. When he's come back, he would just pick up the phone and it would always be just, "Hey sis, how's it going?" And you will, we've heard so many other tributes that people have of their memories of Inga, that smile, that laughter, but he always, always made you feel really, really important and that you mattered. That was that special quality that he had. Yes, he was a rugby star, an All Black star, but to many people he was a friend who had an ear to listen, and he would always be there to support you if you asked.
I love that. I would love sort of maybe to elaborate any sort of, other good memories or even characteristics from him, because again, people know him mostly for playing on the field, but I suppose that what was sort of behind the closed doors and off the field that a lot of people speak about.
Well, he was very inspirational. Of course, his rugby career, his life that he had in that path was very inspirational from his startup story that many of you have heard. But he was also very aspirational, and that he loved to try out businesses. He wanted to do things. he would support anyone, particularly he loved our Pacific community, anyone that wanted to just go that extra mile to do something different. He was there for that. And of course, he did it himself. I've lost count how many businesses he opened, and I love that about him. He had that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, absolutely. How is the Tuigamala family doing now? I know that's probably something that people often ask, but I suppose, is there anything best way maybe our community can support them during this time?
Uh, Look, just the continued prayers. As you know, they're a family of huge faith, and Inga definitely was. So I know that Daphne has been very, very heartened by many messages that she received. And, you know, although she wasn't able to reply them, or I mean, I know that she was very heartened to read them. So just the continued prayers for Daphne and her family at this time. Um, and the other thing I would say is there's something that Inga would always say to us when we were sort of leaving with, you know, our group of friends. And he would just say, you know, be good to each other, look after each other. He would always say that. Be good to each other, look after each other. And that's a really good message.
I love that. Was there any, and I hope you don't mind me asking, would there have been a message that yourself, if you had been given the opportunity to say something to Inga?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. The last time I spoke to Inga, we were doing a video call because obviously we couldn't meet, and he had lost this amazing amount of weight, as you know, his journey. So when I saw him come up on my screen, I thought, oh my goodness, you know, and I was so happy for him that he was really doing that for his health.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about some things, and it was always we've got to catch up, sis, you know. And I just, if I'd known that was the last call, you know, I would have said some other things.
Absolutely. Yeah. Look, thank you very much. And I know it's very much an emotional, you know, anytime that someone close passes away. So I do actually thank you so much for just being vulnerable and having to share that. So,
No. He was an amazing man, and just our thoughts and prayers with Daphne. You know, it's a very tough time for them. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. If you are tuning in, we are speaking with longtime friend and, of course, former politician and businesswoman Agnes Loheni. Would just like to sort of maybe switch the talanoa now.
Sure.
First, you know, all I can say is, Agnes, we both have a great name.
I know.
We're both showing up today with the nice curly hair, naturally rocking the curls. You know, as being that former, you know, or not, former politician and then businesswoman, you've got your clothing line and things like that. You know, before we get into, you know, touching on politics, because, you know, that's, you know, the lane that you sort of switched into. How's it been since then, sort of, you know, knowing that you're not sort of in that lane full time?
Oh, I have to say it's been wonderful, Agnes. It was, you know, it's quite different. I was in there for half a term. So obviously I was still trying to grasp some new things. But I also loved it, and I was also very grateful for the opportunity, no doubt about it. I met so many amazing people, and I got an insight into some areas of people's lives up and down this country that I wouldn't have been exposed to. So I'm really, really grateful for that.
Yeah, and of course, you know, it was yourself and even, you know, fellow PI Alfred Nuttall, you know, the fact that you both were, you know, sort of, you know, national for the first time, right? They're leading in the polls now, right? In front of Labour, but I suppose not sort of having any PI representation. You know, does the party then need to find someone to be that voice, or is there someone even in the party that you think would be the person to advocate for our people?
I think you can always advocate for people, but it's always better to have people that can relate better to those parts of the community. This is something the party is very, very conscious of. It's been aware of, obviously, since the election. And so the party is working on it. It can't do anything during the course of the term. It has to be, you know, at the next election. But generally, it's something that the party is very, very aware of.
Yeah, and of course, you know, elections are next year. I would love to ask, would you get back into politics and join National, of course, under Luxon's leadership?
I would definitely, Aggie, it's something that I would be considering. It was, for me, I felt there was a sense it was unfinished business for me, but at the same time, I have enjoyed being out of the political limelight in this term and being back in my business and being back with my family. It is hard on families,
Yeah.
but I would definitely be considering it for next year, and I'm definitely been inspired by Chris Luxon, no doubt about it. I've met him on a number of occasions, gotten to know him and his wife Amanda and their family, and I think he would be a wonderful prime minister in this country, to take us beyond what we've just been going through, particularly in these last few years, which has been very hard for our country and obviously around the world. But I think he has the mindset just to take us out of that and forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving forward, though, what would be maybe your key message to those looking towards elections? You know, because again, National has always been the hard call on diversity. You know, so if you do take up that campaign to want to run again, I mean, yeah, what would you want people to know or look to, and then also any final message just on Va'aiga Tuigamala too?
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think at the moment, no doubt about it, people are feeling the pressure, particularly in our Pacifica community around cost of living. And it hasn't just happened in this last few months. Cost of living has been going up for a few years now. It's just, I think it's now because we're coming out of this COVID space where people are talking about it, and petrol, cost of food, fruit and vegetables. So this is where it hurts our families, is that ability to provide. And so, you know, for National, it is trying to, people say, well, you only care about the economy, but it's the economy that helps lift our families up. It provides, you know, the jobs, improves wages, and gives you the ability to do those things that you want with your family, give you some choices. And people just have to work through that themselves, and you know, as we head into election, and actually ask politicians. They come to your door if you're, you know, position, you know, what is it that you're going to offer that's going to make a difference for me and my family? And every politician, no matter what colour they are, they need to deserve that vote from you. It shouldn't be taken for granted.
Love. And then just any final words to the late, great rugby legend, Va'aiga Tuigamala?
Oh, I mean, I just think we should take some inspiration for the way that Inga lived. He was still very young, you know, he's still life ahead. But he lived so much in those 53 years of his life. And so I think for me, he lived fearlessly. He lived with faith and he lived fearlessly. And I think we can all take something from that. I know that I definitely will.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, look, Agnes, so great to have you on the show this morning. Really appreciate your time. Thank you again, just all for the work that you do, specifically still for our Pacific people. So have a great day today.
Thank you very much, Aggie, and you too.
No worries.